So I'm labeling left side, right side. And I want to find out the value of m. This one is a little bit more difficult. I need to find the value of m. So I need to isolate m. And I need to figure out what's going on around that m. So I'm going to use my flow chart to help me figure out what's going on around m. So I'm going to come over this side and I'm going to say to myself, we have m, then we're multiplying it first by 6, multiply by 6. Then that's what this 6 is for. Then afterwards, we're adding 7. Afterwards, we add 7, and that should give us 19. So I'm going to have to reverse these steps to get back to m. So starting at 19, going backwards and reversing my steps, I need to do the opposite of plus 7. And the opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. Still retracing my steps. Next step, I need to multiply by 6. So I need to do the opposite of multiplying by 6, which is dividing by 6. And that should give me what m is. So let's try it now. Starting at 19, first I'm going to subtract 7. So I'm moving this 7 across the equal sign and it becomes a minus 7. So I'm left with 6m is equal to 19 take away 7 will give us 12. Looking back at the flow chart, my next step says I should divide by 6. So I'm going to have to divide by 6 now. So I'm moving this 6 across the equal sign and it becomes a divide by 6 because I was multiplying it initially. So m is going to be equal to this fraction. 6 into 6 goes 1 and 6 into 12 goes 2. So m is equal to 2. Simple, don't it? So here we have another equation and it might look difficult, but if you think about it and keep the processes the same, then it's simple cheese, very easy. First you have to think about it. So we say 2x take away 3 is equal to 1. I'm going to label left, right. Now I want x to be on its own. I want to isolate x. Here it is. And I want to isolate it. I need to think about what are the things operating on that x. Right? So I'm going to put it over here. So I see x. Then x is being multiplied by 2. Multiplied by 2. Then afterwards, x will subtract 3. Subtract 3. And that will give us 1. Now, if I'm going to do the reverse of this, starting from 1, I'm supposed to end up back at x. So, I'm starting at 1. Then I'm going to do the reverse of this step. What's the opposite of subtracting 3? I'm going to have to add 3. Then afterwards, I'm going to have to do the opposite of multiplying by 2, which is dividing by 2. And that should tell me what x is. So let us try it. First step, add 3. So it means I'm going to carry this minus 3 across the equal sign and it becomes a plus 3 on the right side. So this will give me 2x is equal to 1 plus 3 will give us 4. Then This is what I call a flow chart, right? So the flow chart tells me after I add 3, then I'm going to divide by 2, which simply means I'm going to move this 2 and carry it across the equal sign. And remember, this is a multiply by 2. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So then now I'll have x on its own. So I can simplify this now because it's an easy fraction. 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 4. 2 into 2 goes 1 time and 2 into 4 goes 2 times. So x is equal to 2 over 1, or simply 2. Now this one might seem a little tricky, but it's very easy. Once you can write out a flow chart, you're very good. So we have n divided by 5, subtract 7 is equal to 2. So I have to find out what's going on around n to make my flow chart. So I have n, then I'm going to divide by 5, then I'm going to subtract 7, and that should give me 2. So if I reverse my steps, or if I retrace my steps, so starting at 2, and I'm going to reverse my steps, the opposite of subtracting 7 is adding 7. The opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. And when I'm finished, that should give me what n is. So let's try it step by step and see if it works. So first things first, when I'm going to solve for n, I need to add 7. So adding 7 is the opposite of subtracting 7 here. So that means I'm going to carry this across the equal sign, and it changes from a minus 7 to a plus 7. See that? So n divided by 5 is going to be equal to 7 plus 2, or 2 plus 7, which will give us 9. The next step in my flow chart says to me that I need to multiply by 5 now. So that literally means I'm getting rid of this divide by 5 and carrying it over to the other side. To do the opposite of dividing by 5, I multiply by 5. Good. So I'm going to get n is equal to 9 times 5, which is 45. It's easy, don't it? This is a tricky one, but if you focus, you can solve the question. So we're trying to find the value of triangle. Now, if I come up with my flow chart, I can easily solve for the value of triangle by just figuring out what is happening around that triangle. So I'm coming to the side. So I have a triangle, starting off with triangle. So triangle, then I'm going to take away 4. Then after I take away this 4, then I'm going to divide by 3. And then when I'm finished, I'm supposed to get 6. So if I'm going to do the reverse, or to retrace my steps, I'm going to start at 6. Then I'm going to do the opposite of this, divide by 3, which is multiply by 3. Then I'm going to have to do the opposite of this, subtracting by 4, which is to add 4. And that should give us the value of triangle. So I'm going to try my flow chart and see if it actually works. So my flow chart says to find triangle, I must first start at 6, then multiply by 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3. So I'm moving this divide by 3 across the equal sign. So this divide will change to multiply and I will keep my 3. So triangle minus 4 is going to be equal to 6 times 3, which is 18. Alright. The next step in my flowchart says, well then look, I'm going to have to add 4, which is the reverse of subtracting 4. So I need to move this minus 4 across the equal sign. And when I do so, the minus will change to a plus and the 4 will remain. So triangle is going to be equal to 18 plus 4, which is 22. So the value of triangle is 22. Very easy, not you? Simple. Look at this one. We have 3x minus 1 is equal to x plus 5. Now when you check it out, x is on both sides of the equal sign. So you have the left here and you have the right here. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? The world is ending. Well, that might be true. This is a simple problem. So what I want to do is to gather the like terms together on one side of the equal sign. So I'm going to identify my like terms first. So I have this 3x and here is a 1x or a single x. I have minus 1 here and I have plus 5 here. Now that I've identified my like terms, I need to put them together. I want to first keep x positive, so I'm going to keep it on this side because the x is larger. So that means I need to move this x across the equal sign. So if I'm going to do that, the sign on this x is positive. So when you don't see a sign, it means that that number or that variable or that letter is positive. So I'm going to move this positive x across the equal sign to join the other x's on the left side. So I'm going to have 3x, and because I'm moving from the right to the left, I'm changing the side. The sign is going to change from positive x to a minus x. I keep up my minus 1, and if x is no longer on the right side, just this positive 5 will stay on the right. When I look to, so we're good so far. So I have x here and x here. So I need to move now this negative 1 to join this 5. So I'm going to have to move this negative 1. So if I'm moving this negative 1 to join the 5, it's going to change its sign from negative to positive, and the 1 remains. So I'm going to have 3x take away x is equal to 5 plus 1. So all my like terms are together. When you look at it, my 3x here and my x, when it changes, it becomes negative x. And I also have my positive 5 over the right side originally, and this 1. When it changes, it becomes positive, from negative to positive. Seeing that my like terms are together, I can simplify. So I have 3x's and I lost 1x. I'm going to be left back with 2x. And 5 plus 1 will give us 6. Now I need to simplify. This is 2 times x. So to find x on its own, I need to remove multiplying by 2. Or undo multiply by 2. So undo a multiply by 2, I need to divide by 2. What I do to one side, do it to the next side to keep it balanced because of this equal sign. So these two cancel, leaving me with just x here on the left. And 22 goes 1, 26 goes 3. So x is equal to 3. Very simple, easy and nice.